Great news as the fat cats of Wall Street come up with a skinnier stimulus deal. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's morning's LALATE. Hope you're great and safe. Cut the carbs because we're coming up with shorter and skinnier stimulus deals this morning. This is morning's LALATE, our morning program every morning at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, with really great, exciting news about the second stimulus check overnight. There's no fat shaming on this channel, but apparently everyone's now calling each other a little bit too bloated when talking about one another's second stimulus packages. And this channel included. Last night, this channel slammed the Democratic Party for really doing a 120-page second stimulus package that embedded in it a second stimulus check, which everyone agreed upon, in lieu of a simple, skinny down, watered down, one-page memo bill that could be done in all 4 sentences. In fact, we found out last night that it can be done in 4 sentences, and the Democrats are doing it when there's an emergency for their own pocketbooks, as Carolyn Maloney, Democrat out of New York, is doing right now for the DeJoy scandal. Let me get right to the details. Steve Mnuchin, in a transcript obtained by LALATE minutes ago, appeared on Squawk Box, CNBC, yet again, start of the week, it's time to appear once again, to talk about what else? Second stimulus. And what interestingly came out of the discussions was his call for skinny, watered-down, small stimulus package bills, not this massive HEALS Act, which he didn't write. And it comes on news that the Republicans allegedly are drafting one. Is someone watching this channel? I told you to tag Nancy and Steve. Well, apparently the Democrats are considering the same thing. If you don't recall, I reported yesterday and over the weekend that Nancy Pelosi was asked whether she would support a standalone bill for your second stimulus check to get it out ASAP. And even if perhaps a second stimulus, a standalone bill for FPUC as well, more about that in a second, because there's agreement upon your second stimulus check. So why is it in this enormous, large sumo wrestler stimulus package bill that people can't agree upon? The good news, this is Steve Mnuchin talking, he's not narrating this channel. He says the good news is that despite Congress not acting because Pelosi and Schumer aren't willing to sit down and strike a reasonable deal, the president moved forward with an executive order to help people who are still unemployed, said Mnuchin this morning. Is that good news? Or is it not? More in a second. There's no question that the economic numbers are doing better. So as we reopen the economy, we see things getting better. But the president wants us to do more. He wants us to provide more money for kids and jobs and a second round of PPP. That's really good news. So for the first time, we're actually hearing Republicans say, hey, the economy is getting better, but we still want to give you stimulus, as opposed to Mitch McConnell, who always would say the economy is doing great and we're not giving you a second stimulus. So let me get right to the details of what's really going on. There's an agreement upon your check, $1,200, individuals, second stimulus check. All individuals to get a $1,200 second stimulus check, whether you're on SSDI, SSI, or Social Security, or railroad benefits. Married couples, $2,500 check as well is also agreed upon. There's an agreement that all dependents would get a second stimulus check, unlike the first stimulus package where adult dependents did not get a first stimulus check. Well, this time around, there is 2 items of non-agreement we've so far heard. They are, first, the issue of dependents. Republicans want to give a $500 check to dependents this time around. Democrats want to give $1,200. There's all indications that the Republicans would come up to $1,200. It doesn't sound like a deal breaker. It's not a lot more money. The president floated on a tweet on Friday last week that he would pay a family of 4, not a family of 5. He suggested $3,400, not a not a check of $6,000 to a family of five, which is because it would be $500 for the dependents as opposed to Pelosi and the Democrats, which is $1,200. The also great news is that if this deal was done, I'm going to say this as though I was recording this last week. If this deal was done, members of Congress would be ordered back into session, would come back into town. Everyone would fly back into town. House would convene on the first day and vote. Senate would vote on the second day. The president would sign the bill on the third day. The great news is that they're already coming back to town because they're chasing down a guy with his mailboxes. So that's their pressing priority at the moment, but they're back in town. Hey, Fox News. So the claim that no one was going to work on your second stimulus package to September is untrue. Now, let me tell you this great news that's happened overnight. And this is for anyone that, I don't want to encourage you to drink, but if you like a nice skinny martini, please have one tonight, because skinny is all the rave when it comes to stimulus packages overnight. Last night, let me cut to the chase and then give you the backstory. Cut to the chase is that both Republicans and Democrats are considering a skinnier version of the second stimulus package that may or may not amount to a standalone bill, or may just amount to less of things to get that done, and then to do the bigger ticket, harder items shortly thereafter. Now, here's the backstory. A, that's incredibly great news. I mean, just incredibly great news. B, it sort of sounds like someone's watching this channel. If you didn't watch Evenings LALATE at 6:45 last night, I talked about Carolyn Maloney's baloney. She is the Democrat out of New York who had the audacity to say, you know what, that guy that's moving mailboxes, we have a problem, and it's an emergency because we need to make sure ballots go out because we need to get reelected, get our paychecks as members of Congress. So our paychecks are at issue. So let me go home and write up a bill, and it'll be 1 page long. It was literally 1 page long, and give it to Nancy and talk to her, Nancy, on the phone Friday and say, hey, Nancy, I wrote a really short bill. It's an emergency because our checks are at issue. And this guy's moving the mailboxes. Here you go. Well, Nancy saw it. So, we can't lose our paychecks. Let's order everyone back in town. We got to get our paychecks. So now we see how Congress can literally write a bill within 1 paragraph long, rush back into town when their checks are at issue. But when your checks are at issue, they have to take 5 months at it and put it in a mega bill, a second stimulus package that's 125 pages long that involves a lot of stuff that no one cares to hear about. Well, apparently that's now percolating stronger than your coffee. Hope you're buttering the toast, which I forgot to mention at the top. Buttering your toast and enjoying your morning breakfast. I got some croissants. I hope you got some as well. To all my viewers who have struggled during difficult times this week, I've seen your tweets. I am with you. One viewer lost her car yesterday to repo. I see everything, and I feel your pain and your pressure. Some viewers are watching this broadcast from their car because they're homeless. Others have lost their car to repo. Others have lost their home. So I'm with you. So when we talk about things like, I had one viewer say the other day, please don't start with butter my toast because I have no money to put on the table for my butter. So I see what's going on, and I hope Congress friggin' understands what's going on. That's why I don't talk about those things on camera, because I can't hold it together. Unfortunately, if you realize who I am, I can't talk about things like that because I can't hold it together. So let's talk about Nancy and Steve so I get it together. Nancy is chasing a guy around with his mailboxes with a 1-page bill. When people are saying, why couldn't you do that for our stimulus checks, Nancy, and get our stimulus checks out weeks ago so we would have butter for our bread? Well, apparently that percolated, whether it's because of this recording, let me fix my collar, or whether it's because a lot of other people were talking about it as well. And now there's indication for lots of news reports. Send me the links. No, I'm not going to send you the links. Go to CNBC. Send me the links. There are reports now that the Democrats and Republicans are saying, hey, our packages were too big. This is one of the times that it's the motion of the ocean, not the whatever it is. Small is very popular this week. So if you have a small package, you're very desired in Washington. Maybe you can run for president. Anyway, so there we go. Now, let's turn to Steve Mnuchin and his remarks. So people are asking me, when can we get the friggin' ass stimulus checks out of LALATE? When do you see this happening? When do you see this happening? I literally can't answer the question because I don't have, these people change their story a little by the minute. This is great news that people want to do watered down stimulus package bills. The other great news is that the people are in town. Nancy, by calling people back to chase down, she's calling people into town for a hearing about DeJoy. Inspector DeJoy and Postmaster DeJoy. Apparently, it's now Friday. Then it was Saturday. Then it was Monday. I don't care. So long as they have really nice stamps offered that day, I'm totally fine. That is happening, but apparently Congress is coming back in session, not just for DeJoy, but for the delight of hopefully getting your second stimuluses done in a watered-down package. This was discussed by Democrats with Nancy even before they were prepared to return before town. Before Nancy issued that statement 2 days ago saying you're ordered back into town, get back to town, welcome back Carter, she apparently had Democrats tell her, Nancy, we got to get the stimulus done. You can't just have us come back to town to talk about a guy in his mailboxes, moving them down the street. We got to do stimulus. Now let me refer to what Steve Mnuchin was talking about. Clickbait Steve. It's like, Steve, are you a little bit of clickbait today? He said, the great news is that the president moved forward to get people money who are still unemployed. I don't know if that's great news, Steve, because here's the data. Here's the data. It's not great news, Steve. The great news, it's not great news. FPUC 2.0, as I affectionately call it, or SLWA. I keep on wanting to call it SWV. LWA, Lost Wage Assessment. That is the name for FPUC 2.0. Is running out of money. There's literally no money, and I'm not just saying this facetiously. I'm not just gossiping about it. Did you hear about it? I'm not gossiping. This is a statement from FEMA. FEMA that's underwriting it. They say we have no money. We have 3 weeks of money, and that's gone. So it's not working. What does 3 weeks mean? It means this entire a horse and pony show of an executive order is really going to get you $900. Under FEMA. Now, there is a provision in there that states can give you $100 per week all the way up to December. There's no indication that any state will do it. But let me explain what's happening. Under the executive order issued, a week a week and a half ago, it called for $400 to be provided to you to extend unemployment benefits, which expired in late July at $600 a week. Now, what no one asked was who has the bank, who has the check, who has the checkbook to write this? Well, it's FEMA. And quickly some people said, oh, FEMA has so much money, and everyone's like, yeah, have you looked? They don't. Well, FEMA came out and says, we don't have a lot of money, sorry. You should have gotten the soup, not the salad. And so they apparently only have now indicated we have 3 weeks of benefits to pay. So that's like the first, the second, and the third, aka 300 times $3, $900. So you'll get $900 from FEMA. So you get 3 weeks of LWA, and you won't get a remix after that or a slow jam version. You're getting 3 weeks, and that's it. Moreover, what 3 states are you getting it in? Well, I detailed that last night. There's really 4 states that were approved by FEMA per a Saturday report, and then a Monday afternoon update says that there may be 4 more states. So at most 8 states, you possibly will get the 3 weeks of benefits, and that's it. So for Steve to say that the good news is that people, the president moved forward with an executive order to help people who are still employed, still unemployed. No, the bad news is that of all the states, all but 8 said go pound sand. We're not doing this. It's illegal, and I'll wait for Congress to do it. Thank you so much. So no, that's a little bit spinning there. Now here is the other part of the day of the stories that are really at issue. Now that I've explained FPUC, I want you to stay with me because FPUC is going to be the whopper of developments, is the following. And I have to explain this very clearly to you. The issue of second stimulus is all an issue of perception. And you hear me talking about it, but are other people talking about it? And here is what's very troubling. CNBC, which is the leading business channel in the nation, is barely doing reporting on the second stimulus package for upwards of over now a week. They're giving little tidbits of updates about FPUC, or they have an interview of Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, once a week. But I'm not saying anything negative about the channel. I'm telling you that it's suddenly not become front page news. It has become back page news. And the front page news from CNBC today is S&P numbers, highest record numbers on Wall Street ever. Walmart reported best retail sales numbers ever. Home Depot to report highest numbers ever. The economy's doing incredible. The problem with the optics is that the rich cats of Wall Street are getting very rich. I can't undervalue how rich they're getting during this pandemic in the last 2 weeks. And the poor and middle class are really, really not being covered and are getting trashed left and right by this economy. A new report indicated today that Walmart reported absolutely bonkers, incredible numbers. Home Depot, Lowe's, Target are all set to report retail sales numbers today. Jim Cramer explained how the situation is unfolding. Basically, if you're a big fat cat like Walmart, you're making fortunes. But as Jim Cramer says, it's absolutely indicative of small businesses are absolutely being wiped off the face of the planet. So whereas big cats are getting very, very fat and they're front page news on CNBC, how wonderful they are, and how people who own Walmart stock are going to make so much money, small businesses that compete with Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target are absolutely being wiped off the face of the planet. So as we sit here, also Treasury yields are again flat based upon their belief that economic numbers are relatively decent and that they don't see anything bad with the numbers. Here is what Cramer says. We're about to see a set of unbelievably positive numbers for big retailers and restaurant chains, which is fabulous if you own those stocks. But frankly, it's horrifying if you think what they're thriving upon. I love it when these big household names go higher, but I hate one of the reasons they're going higher. Listen to this. Their small business competitors are being wiped out. A lot of these small business outfits have been unable to hold their own before COVID, and now the big guys have crafted phenomenal same-day delivery services that only Amazon could beat. Basically, as we sit here today, it's important that you like and share these videos, post them on Twitter, tag politicians. I saw you last night. Tag Nancy's, tag Steve's, tag Mark Meadows, tag everyone that's in that negotiating room. Tag your congressman, tag Don Lemon, tag Chris Cuomo, tags Fox Evening News broadcasters, tag everyone, because suddenly, the most important issue in America right now, your second stimulus checks, your unemployment benefits, your hazard pay, your rent assistance, is not front page news. We have a Democratic convention, we have a Nancy chasing a guy with his mailboxes, and then we have financial news channels covering the incredible growth of a couple stocks that's making a lot of people very rich that they own the stocks, and a lot of business owners fortunes, while there's very little coverage about you. I'm here with you. I will continue to report with you. I'm not selling you Weibo stocks. I'm here with you. But ultimately, the concern is that if this story does not remain front page, the pressure to get the deal done may soften. Coming up this afternoon on Afternoon to LALATE, we will be monitoring the situation as this skinny bill issue unfolds, starting with the check at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, then hazard pay, then FPUC, and then rent assistance. Do me a favor, go to the Funded channel, hit that subscribe and alert button. We are about to pass 200,000 subscribers. It's been an incredible run. If you don't know and you're new to this channel, because we're adding about 10,000 subscribers per day, we started on April 25th. Yes. So as we approach, May, June, July, August, as we approach our 4th month, we will have done 200,000 subscribers in 4 months. It's never been done in the history of YouTube. I don't think it'll ever be done again. And it's because of the spirit of one another, helping one another, keeping the spirit alive, delivering facts, not spin, and keeping it positive, keeping it motivated, and staying LALATE for more.